So we're on Unit 5. We are now on Lesson 5. Now, Lesson 5 is about this thing called synthetic division. Hello. Sure. Just a sec. So I know how you guys felt about last class's lesson. It's how pretty much everybody would feel about last class's lesson. Those problems are ugly, they're tedious, a lot of work. So some kind-hearted mathematician came up with a shortcut. Shortcuts are good. Problem is that they only sometimes work. So I'm going to talk about a shortcut for long division today. And you're going to know when you're allowed to use that shortcut and when you're not. So it's called synthetic division. So it's kind of interesting. What the mathematicians who came up with this noticed was that when you do long division, you notice that if you just ignore all the letters and just pay attention to the list of the coefficients, there was an interesting pattern. He came up with a way to completely ignore the letters and just do some math with the coefficients to get the answer really quick. But it only works sometimes. So I'm going to share that shortcut with you right now. Okay. Now the best way for me to share it with you is just with an example. There's no way to really say what it is. You just have to see how it works. So, well actually, here's an important note. So let's write this. Synthetic division only works when the divisor is of the form x plus or minus some number. So you guys remember last class how you put one thing underneath the bracket, right? And one thing outside? The one outside is called the divisor. That thing that's on the outside, it can only be x plus a number or x minus a number. If it looks like that, then you can do this little shortcut trick. If it doesn't look like that, then you have to do long division. Okay. So let's do an example. So let's say I had 5x to the fourth minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 divided by, just a sec, x plus 4, I guess. We'll see what happens. What was your question, Hannah? You got it? Huh? You're right. You're right. Good job. All right. So, first of all, look at my divisor. That's the one that comes second there. Is that in the right form for synthetic? It is. It's got to be x plus a number or x minus a number, but that's it. There is a way to do it if you have a number in the front, but we're not going to bother with it today. And you can't have any exponents. It's got to be x plus a number, x minus a number, and that's it. So we're good to do synthetic division because of that. Okay. Now, you notice something else. You guys remember last class in our video, you have to have every power accounted for, right? So which one are we missing? The cube. So when we're missing a cube, or any other one, you put a 0 in, right? As a placeholder. You still have to do that for synthetic. So let's do that first. Anytime you're missing one of your powers, you have to fill it in with a 0 term. So now instead of going from 4 to 2 to 1 to none, it's 4, 3, 2, 1, none. Okay, got to have every power accounted for. Okay. So Step 1 of this is just setting it up. Step 2 is calculating it. Step 3 is writing your answer. Okay? So let's look at step 1. How do you set this thing up to begin the work? You're going to, first of all, you're going to make like this little L bracket here, an upside down L bracket. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the coefficients, just the numbers, none of the variables, just these numbers, and you're going to put it here. 5, 0, -3, 2, and -1. The next thing you have to do is you're going to take this number here, but you're going to put it out here. But when you do that, you're going to make it the opposite sign. So this is going to become a what? -4. There's your setup. That's step 1. Okay? So put all your coefficients down there. Take that last number, put it over here. Make it an opposite sign. Okay. After that, guys, now we get to do the calculation. What the calculation is just repeating the same process over and over. Add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. Ready?
Wait, will you start off with?
That's a good question. I'll show you.
Hey, what is
Sure. Just sign up on that little whiteboard there and take that little green rolled up paper by it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring down this 5. That's the first thing you do, Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Now, after that, you're going to multiply this number out here times this number. What would you get?
-25.
Negative
what the
20.
heck? 20, not bad.
-20. And you're going to put that right here
I said 0.
underneath the next term. And you repeat. But this time, we're going to add down. So what's 0 and -20 make?
Negative.
Okay? And then you repeat. -4 times -20?
That's like positive 8. That's -3. Positive 8.
Now, unfortunately, I picked bad numbers. So we're going to end up with some really big numbers here. Sorry. They usually pick numbers well so you don't get these funky things. But don't worry about the size of the numbers. It's kind of irrelevant. So what is 80 take away 3? 77. And you just keep going.
Oh, 400.
Someone with a calculator want to help me out there?
400. Hey, is it 5 times 80, right?
Got a cell phone? I know you guys got cell phones.
Is it 5 times 80?
Do you
know it's -4 times 27?
Yeah.
Internet. Oh.
308? And it's negative, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's -308 plus 2?
-306.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. Bad number pick. What's -4 times 306?
Shoot, that's gonna be
They won't usually be this bad. Like I said, I just picked that. 1024?
No, I'm kidding. Negative 1,232. Whoa, that was close. Wait, what is it?
It's a plus.
So it's 1,232?
What's this?
And it would be a positive because a negative times a negative, right? And then we're going to take 1 off and we get this. Okay. Now, I don't want you guys to get distracted by these numbers because it usually won't be that bad, okay? Can we shake that off and ignore that now? Don't pay attention to that.
That's
Usually,
big.
yeah.
You've already hurt my brain. You just started.
Sorry. Okay, but here's what I do want you guys to do. So we've just finished step 2. Step 1 is your setup, right? Coefficients here, number out here. Step 2 is add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. You guys good? Okay, step 3 is writing your answer, okay? So here's the deal. What we're really doing, you guys, is we're dividing this polynomial by this one. And what this number over here represents is your remainder. So I want you guys to put an R underneath of that. What this number here represents is your constant. That means it's a number that doesn't have any x's with it. What this one represents is your x. Anybody want to take a guess what this one represents? X squared. How about this one? And you just keep going up until you run out of numbers. But there it is. So now let's write it as a real answer now. So this is really not just 5. This is 5. And then Good. And then here's our, this is where you got to get a little bit trickier, a little bit fancier. This is my remainder, right? And we put it over the divisor. What's the divisor? Well, we're going to write the original thing. So there you go. So that's your final step. So step 1 is your setup. Step 2 is the multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Step 3 is write your answers. It is, but it's better than long division. Like I said, somebody, like, literally, if I wanted to take time, I could show you. If you just look at a long division problem, you can just look at the numbers and erase all the letters and you'll see, oh, it's just like they multiplied and added. And multiplied and added. So we thought, we'll just punch it all down to its place, get rid of the letters.
So guided practice or student practice?
Good question. How did they know to flip the sign on the outside? You know, whenever you're doing long division, do we ever change the sign? Remember when you subtract it? Well, there it is. So by making that a negative, it reverses everything for you. So somebody just came up with a shortcut. Somebody who, you know, had a free Saturday one day. They thought,
Mr. Really Saturday. What the heck?
what do you do with your Saturdays?
I'll be like chilling.
We're gonna do we're gonna practice together, but yeah, that's the idea.
Wait, is that?
All right. Would you guys please write down number 2? Write down. This is going to be a guided practice. This is going to be a guided practice. Write down number 2. Write down number 2. Kind of like it makes sense they run out by the time we get to it. Okay, step 1. Here we go, guys. I want you to set it up. So you're going to put something up here. And you're going to put something there, okay? So go ahead. I'm going to give you like a few seconds. You're just setting it up. Put your numbers in the box. So now I want you guys to go ahead and see if you could do this. Now, remember, I'll do the first 2 for you, and I'll let you guys do the rest. You bring this number down first. You multiply. Then you add down and repeat. I'm going to let you guys go from there. What goes here? 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 And here. Good. Now, I don't know, you don't have to put a box here. I don't know. I'm used to that's how I learned it. But now I want you guys to write your answer, okay? You're going to actually write your answer now. Remember, this represents the remainder. This is the constant. Yeah, that's okay. All right, go ahead. See if you guys can write it. One more problem, but this one I'll let you do from beginning to end. So you set it up, you carry out the process, then you write your answer. You guys ready? All right, one more.
You know this is not our last one.
It is. Show me what you got.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so I'm going to work it out, guys. Okay, so the first numbers are 1, 8, 1, 88, negative 21. 9 goes in the front if you change its sign. And so it's going to be bring down the 1, multiply those, add down, multiply, add down, multiply, add down, multiply, add down. This is my remainder, my constant, my x squared, and my x cubed. So we have x cubed minus x squared plus 10x minus 2, and then plus negative 3 over my divisor, which is x plus 9.
You forgot x to the fourth.
There's no X to the fourth.
Henry, I'm going to ask you to stop embarrassing yourself right now, okay, buddy?
Wait, don't we?
No.
No,
Henry.
Henry, I said stop embarrassing yourself.
We always have to start off.
All right. Now, just so you guys know, you guys might have noticed how they wrote their answer. They took this negative and they dropped it down to here. You don't have to, but this will be a multiple choice test. You'll want to be able to recognize it when it happens.
Okay, that's what I was confused on. Why is there negative there?
Now you know.
Wait, so is our quiz tomorrow on this?
No, your quiz tomorrow is on review. So I'm going to put your homework on the board so you guys can try and knock that out in class now. And that way you can just focus on studying for your test tomorrow night. But once again, it'll be a worksheet uploaded on Google Classroom. Yes, and I'll have a video.
So you gave us 2 homework assignments.
And I'm giving you time to finish one of them in class. Shush your Barry Nelson. Now, next, I have a video if you guys have questions about how to do things. And you can get extra credit on the worksheet if you want.
Have you already made the video?
I did make the video. Matter of fact, I'll probably just upload it now.
Post it.
I will. Gosh.
Dang.
Sure.
I so much attitude. Okay.
Oh, what do you know? You guys just did some homework. 2 and 3. Huh.
Really? Oh, man.
Wow, that was pretty good. You could have told us.
I know, me too.
So real quick, actually, no, wait, sorry.
Let me mix another homework thing because I can't do that to you. It's just it would be unrighteous.
No, it wouldn't.
It would be sick, twisted, and vile.
No, it's generous, kind, and loving.
What are you doing? Did you just mix it all around?
All right, there's your first 2.
Okay, hold up.
I wonder if I could do it this way. No. All right, there you go. Write down your number 1 and number 2, and then I'll put number 3 up in about 2 minutes, and then you guys can knock out your homework.
What do I name this?
You can name this homework for 5.5.
That's the homework?
One more problem. No, I'm gonna give you 3. Yeah.
But
You can do long if you want, but I really think you should do synthetic. Hey,
Can we use this for the problem?
yeah. You tell me, can you?
I don't know, you're the teacher.
Look. When it's x plus a number or x minus a number, you can.
It can be -2.
Yeah. All right, do you guys have those written down yet?
No.
How about now?
no.
Right now?
Go
Now.
for it.
This
That's violent.
It is. I feel threatened. I feel threatened,
I didn't say nothing.
dishonored, disrespected,
Dang,
and strangely loved.
Whoa!
Am I good to go now?
No.
Yep.
Hold up.
No.
Cut out storage.
That's what we have. Was that a dinosaur? The egg with the pterodactyl?
Yes. It was a mic.
She said.
Hang on.
Do you have number 1?
I'm on 2. I'm
Does,
on 2.
does anybody not have number 1 yet? You don't have number 1? You're killing me, Smalls.
Dang.
It doesn't.
I know. I used to love it, but it got overplayed my junior year. Like every teacher would play it like through the end of the year, so I was like, come on, just play it.
Do you got the first one done, David? Let me know when you got the first one done. Okay, there. So number 2 is still up there, but there's number 3. Go ahead and knock those out before you leave today. You won't have that for homework, and then you're going to have review. Yeah,
We have 4.
a review study guide. Just 3.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
You know what? I'm just a giver. I'm a man of grace and kindness and goodness.
Well, considering we only have 2 reading homework.
But then we have to do a study.
Oh, yeah. Okay, but he's giving us
What
the
more do you want?
What more do you ask for?
Nelson, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Did you just say it's not being lazy? I'm just trying not to do anything.